Is your home your castle? I'm Shadi Irani from Powerhouse Law, and I'm doing this video to help you understand what you should do and not do if you hear a knock on your door and realise that it's the police. In New South Wales, police can enter your property without a search warrant. Yes, in certain circumstances they can enter without a warrant. It's nothing like the movies, and I'll explain what these scenarios are in a moment. But firstly, you need to understand that if you give them permission to enter by inviting them in, they don't need a warrant or a reasonable excuse. So therefore, the first rule of thumb is to say to them, I do not give you permission to enter my property. However, that may not stop them if they have a lawful reason to enter, and I'll explain what these lawful reasons are. Secondly, police officers should be in uniform or provide evidence of who they are by stating their name and their station, and give you reasons for why they want to enter your premises. A person has the right to request this information from police, and you can tell them to switch on their body-worn camera and start recording. Under Section 9 of LEPRA, police can enter a property without a warrant or without an invitation if they believe on reasonable grounds that there's been a breach of the peace which has occurred. Now, this might include very loud noise that is coming from the property or violent behaviour or disruptive activities, and it is necessary for them to enter to put an end to the breach of the peace. Now, this will most likely be what is happening when your neighbours hear loud noise coming from your property during lockdown and they call the police on you and inform the police that something unusual is going on. Or a person has suffered or is in imminent danger of suffering personal injury, and some people might argue COVID-19 here, and where they do not need an invitation or a warrant to enter if they reasonably believe that a person needs to be arrested or detained from that premises. This is probably what they will say to justify entering to arrest someone for breaching the Public Health Act. For example, if they've been monitoring you in the community, or if your neighbour has called the police on you for breaching the public health orders, they will accuse you of this, and then they can enter lawfully because they want to arrest you for breaking the law. Also, a police officer can enter the house if they believe on reasonable grounds that an act of domestic violence is or may be recently being committed, and if they need to confiscate firearms and arrest somebody for those reasons. The only other way they can enter and search premises is if they have a valid search warrant, and this includes where they want to enter and search a premises during the lockdown and under the Public Health Act. And in a nutshell, I'm going to summarise what those might be. So they can enter, for example, a commercial premises where they consider it to be necessary, where they can produce a valid search warrant or a valid certificate of authority, or if you give them permission to enter. Also, the police can enter premises used for residential purposes only if they have a valid search warrant or the occupier gives them informed consent. Now, this is entering, remember, with a warrant. There are additional rules imposed under the Public Health Act when it comes to searching premises with a warrant, and I won't bore you with those rules right now. However, if they do have a warrant, make sure you get a copy of that warrant and the occupier's notice. Politely ask the officer about why they are there and what they're looking for. Request that they record the entire search on a camera. You can use your own phone to record the search, but do it from a safe distance without obstructing any officers. And do not argue the validity of the warrant when they are at your door. That is not the appropriate time. Your lawyer will do that at court. Some people will also argue this.
It's the Constitution, it's Mabo, it's justice, it's law, it's the vibe, and no, that's it, it's the vibe.
The Constitution does not impose restrictions on police powers when it comes to entering premises, because the state legislation permits them to in certain circumstances, and things like that happens in movies. It is not right that police can abuse their powers, and hopefully they are not, but I encourage everyone that if they are confronted in a scenario where police are at your door, you should remember what I have said in this video, but also to remember to remain calm, try and be polite and speak to them in a polite way, and record everything on your phone, but do it from a very safe distance. Do not shout at them or try to interfere with what they are doing. And when you're recording, please do it far away where you're not obstructing them. Trust me, if you are found to be interfering with what they are doing, i.e. an arrest of somebody, they will also turn to you and arrest you. Which now leads me to my final point about the penalty for hindering, assaulting or intimidating police. It carries up to 5 years imprisonment and $5,500 fine. under the Public Health Act, if you are found to be willfully obstructing an officer from doing their search under a search warrant or intimidating them, you can be fined up to $11,000. At the end of the day, your home is your castle, but unfortunately police have been given certain powers to enter and search your home with or without a warrant, and you need to make sure that you are not found in that kind of scenario. I hope this post is helpful. Please leave your comments and messages below or direct message me for any further assistance. Please remain safe and look after each other, and thank you for listening.